What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony here at the Breakout Daily. Thank you for tuning in. We have Helldestroyer Comics in the house with us once again. Today, we're going to be diving into a game changer, not only for comic books, because I feel like a big movement for comic books, but for the MCU as a whole. This movie, we call it a movie? It's a movie.
Special presentation.
But it's still a movie, though.
Yeah.
It's not a series. Right. It's not a TV show. It's a movie, a short movie, but a movie nonetheless, guys.
One shot.
One shot. There you go. That's a good way to do it. A one shot, and that is Werewolf by Night. So we're going to dive into that, talk through some of it, and then I think it's going to lead to some pretty cool conversations. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we're diving into Werewolf by Night. If you have not seen Werewolf by Night at this time,
What's wrong with you?
that's fucking
Got
spot.
rocks in your head? Loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's lead up to Werewolf by Night because it's very Werewolf by Night, Tomb of Dracula, Man Thing. So I've done a lot of those shows on Whatnot. Just those three characters: Werewolf by Night,
Yeah.
Tomb of
So did
Dracula,
I.
and Man Thing. Right?
Yeah,
The cult following is real.
for sure.
Like real, like
Yeah.
the books hold value and have held value. You've got a lot of cool shit in those books to play it up a little bit. I mean, you've got the first appearances of those characters, of course, of sub characters that you may or may not be familiar with, but you've got characters that are driven out of there. Of course, Werewolf by Night. Of course,
Moon
Tomb,
Knight came
and
out
then
of
Man
there.
Thing.
Blade came out.
Blade
of there.
came out of there. Howard the Duck came out of there. Deacon Frost came out of there. Dr. Sun came out of there. And so many.
I just ran the whole Werewolf by Night run on Whatnot, and I ran the entire Tomb of Dracula run on Whatnot. So,
Fuck.
And when you ran yours, they got bid up crazy. Mine got bid up crazy. There's some major Bronze Age Marvel horror fans and I, as a kid, I was buying those books off the spinner rack.
Yep.
And I loved, man, when a new Werewolf by Night comic came out, I was just like, hell yeah. I mean, I was stoked on it. So for them to put it together, finally come out with that as a feature presentation in the MCU, just, I was tripping out when they announced it.
Absolutely. What was interesting too, for those that don't know, is, and granted, Tomb of Dracula is not in this. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, don't expect Tomb because he's not in it. But he plays in that world. He is as significant, if not more, than those guys.
Horror
staples.
universe.
Those are the staples, right? You got Morbius, and you've got some other characters that we may talk about later. But those three, like, they just go together so fucking well, right? And
well, they started the MCU. What was the first MCU film? Blade. I mean, that's what they started. That was the first Marvel movie, pretty
Marvel,
much.
yeah, more like legit
That
Marvel,
was the first legit Marvel movie was Blade.
With
Which
Wesley
is interesting
Snipes.
Of all the characters,
some of you may have not have seen it. There is a Blade movie. There's three of them, but yeah,
first two were amazing.
Yes, and the story was great when Blade came out. And Wesley Snipes was on fire. You remember how fucking badass?
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes was a badass actor at the time too. Passenger 57, all these badass New Jack City, just back to back to back. And then, dude, tribal tattoos at the time.
Yeah.
Everybody, I think I was just getting into high school, or maybe I was in late junior high when that came. And everybody and their brother was like, tribal tattoo, like, what the fuck? And then he's got the crazy haircut, and he's wearing. It wasn't a bulletproof vest, but it was a weird looking, like, high speed vest.
I remember seeing it in the theater. We were tripping.
Yeah. And then the sword was cool. It wasn't a katana. It was like
but it was scary horror though.
Yeah.
I mean, the opening scene where they went into the nightclub and blood started spraying
coming out of the sprinklers.
Me and my buddy looked at each other like, I'm a little uncomfortable right now, dude. We were tripping.
Yeah,
it was
dude.
Scary.
Absolutely. So there is familiarity with some of the sub-offs. And then, if you don't know, for those that don't follow those characters, there's been a lot of short runs of Man-Thing. There's been a lot of short runs. There was a really limited Werewolf by Night Max run. There was also a really short limited Max run comic or Marvel Max when they were doing that. That was when they were tipping. Yeah, they were tipping their toes into like, let's make it hardcore. Was it Dreadful Nights was Man-Thing, I think is what it was. And then Werewolf was like hardcore, but very limited series. Not a lot of people dug it because it was like hardcore. At the time, maybe it worked because they were doing a bunch of that stuff, but
now they're committed. It seems.
Well, they're committed, but we also had Bloodstone, which plays a part in Werewolf by Night, which was Marvel Comic Presents 1 and 2, and then Bloodstone, bringing in Elsa Bloodstone. So her dad was in those, and then most recently, a book that really got a lot of steam because there was a ton of spec. Werewolf's coming, was the modern version of Werewolf by Night with Jake Gomez. And those books got fucking hot, dude. We didn't see Jake Gomez in the up and coming Werewolf by Night, but there's a long lineage. That's the picture I'm trying to paint. These characters that were spec'd, not all of them made it, have a cult following. This wasn't a weird. To me, it wasn't weird culturally speaking. We didn't get like character like Cole.
It wasn't like when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy,
right? Where like everyone's like, what the fuck? And it wasn't like the original Guardians of the Galaxy. You had some characters from it, but not the main. The mainstays were not from the original.
When they announced Werewolf by Night, people were like,
it was like locked in. I know this shit.
Hell yeah,
because you got two options with Werewolf by Night. Right?
And I just watched the Werewolf by Night making of, where they get into the background of this director. That's a really interesting one where he was the first time he ever directed anything. This guy.
Oh my god!
And he was a movie score guy, and it went into his history where he just made all these movies as a kid with an 8mm camera, and they showed all these movies as a kid. So great job for the director because this is his first one he ever did.
Well, right. Well, and think about that, right? So this is the first. What is it? Special presentation, right? That's what they call it. So this is one of one Marvel special presentation. They dropped it like full announcement, pretty short to the release. Another thing that really got everybody upside down was it's black and white, not done by no modern production company, director, or company that supports and produces has created a black and white film with the clout that Marvel carries. I mean,
it worked. It totally worked.
Oh, it did. But did that, when you saw that trailer, other than being uberly excited to see shit, did that, when you saw it in black and white, did that give it value, or did you feel like, what the fuck are they doing?
No, I was totally down. I totally got what they were going for. Even when they released the movie poster, they had it looked like it was creased and folded, like someone unfolded a movie poster, and then the fact that they went with the practical effects Werewolf by Night, where he looked like the old Wolfman, like Lon Chaney style.
like a good style though. Like they didn't go too ghetto with it, because that was like one of those things.
It worked.
But it was like that was prosthetics, so that wasn't was that CGI? Or
no, it wasn't CGI.
It was all prosthetics,
all prosthetics,
real,
and
which
in
is
the
awesome.
making they kind of show him.
That's
but the way they mix practical effects for horror movies and then some CGI on the Man-Thing.
Well, and what was interesting too, and Kevin Feige noted this, was they pushed the limit. You're able, and I didn't know. I guess I never thought about it, because you don't see black and white movies. I think the last fucking black and white movie that I could think of was like Schindler's List. Right? We're not going into that movie, but I'm just saying, right? Like, or no, excuse me, I'm wrrong. We skipped it. Sin City was absolutely incredible. Frank Miller's Sin City. So I mean, fuck, that one way over my head. But I didn't think about this, but Kevin Feige came out and was like, we were able to push the PG-13 rating to the absolute limit
because of the blood.
Because you don't see blood, which has to be
black.
Yes, that's why, like, when you kill aliens, you can get away with more killing. Because it's not human blood. Red blood. You know, and you can blow up.
That's so ridiculous. Alien. That's one of the things they talked about in Morbius, is that there was no blood because of the rating.
Yep.
And so that was a problem with that movie.
Yeah,
that's a problem with the Venom movies too. It's like they got.
He still bit that motherfucker's head off in Venom. I had to give him props to that. Some of the things they got away with in that, I was like, holy shit. But okay, so back to Werewolf by Night. So the black and white, I agree with you. I think absolute the way to do it. the casting. I actually just recently read something that people were saying they didn't like. What is this? It's not Jake Gyllenhaal. What's the OG?
Jack Russell.
Jack Russell. So Jack Russell.
Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally. I liked it though, dude.
Yeah, he's.
I like
I don't know what is.
I like
French
the
accent.
Yeah, I
It's
like the
French.
weird like
face paint.
Yeah, like he's. What did they say? He's like. It's bonded to him, but it's like it's his family history.
Yeah.
It's natural. It's not like he went and fucking painted his face. I liked his character too.
Yeah.
Elsa Bloodstone. What'd you think of Elsa Bloodstone? She got rave reviews, by the way.
She was great. I
loved it.
like my chicks to be a little hotter. That's just me. We're nitpicking here.
Oh my god.
But yeah, she was a badass. The way that it starts out, the introduction of the whole thing, where it's a bunch of monster hunters gathered. The first Bloodstone. What's his name? What's the name of the Ulysses Bloodstone?
Ulysses Bloodstone. Yeah.
Marvel Presents 1 and 2. I have them available for sale and whatnot if you're interested.
Please call the hotline down below.
He's dead in this coffin, and they crank him up, and he starts talking like, "You have gone." That was a cool thing. Just enough the right amount of humor involved. They set the scene really good, where this is whoever wins this monster hunt in this maze. And they overlook the maze, the scene, the building, the dome building, gets to win this powerful gem, which repels monsters and does a bunch of other things. And so the setup was great, lots of humor in the initial setup, and how they took it from there was, it's only like an hour long.
Yeah,
so the pacing is super, no downtime. So the setup was fantastic. How they set the scene, they show the building from afar. Then after they do the introduction to say what everyone's measuring their dick, so to speak. Like, I have 100 kills, I have blah 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 kills, and the Werewolf by Night Jack Russell's like, I've got over 100. They're like, damn, over 100, but they don't know how he got the 100. So the setup was cool, and then they go into the maze to try and kill some creature, which you have no idea what the creature is. You just hear it howling in the background. We're attaching the bloodstone to the monster. And
that's your reward.
Yeah. And then you hear this, like, oh, that must be it. It doesn't sound very happy that it's been released into the maze. And then they all go into the maze for the monster hunt. And the ride is just great, man. And the monster hunters can fight each other and take each other out. Kind of like a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Death Race 2000 vibe.
Absolutely. Well, and the establishing points though out of the beginning of the show, I liked, because they obviously isolated also Bloodstone because she's not a monster hunter.
Yeah.
But she is part of the family. She has the rights to the Bloodstone.
She gets a pass.
She gets a pass.
Free entry ticket.
Right. And I like the character development on how they built all of these guys, because everybody with the exception of Jack Russell and also Bloodstone look like a character that would go kill some fucking go kill some monsters. And then like you said, they build it up, and then they're released, which they can kill each other, whatever it takes.
So early on they're attacking each other. One dude comes out with a friggin' axe, and
they don't have weapons either. They have to go find them, right?
Right, they have to find the weapons. And so that whole interaction was great. And then Jack Russell hooks up with Elsa Bloodstone. They're like, hey man, we'll just pass each other. We don't have to fight each other.
Yep.
And then the big moment is though when Jack Russell is behind the hedge and the giant man thing hand comes out, and you're like, oh fuck, he's gonna get grabbed by the monster. And then he's like, oh buddy. Yep. And they're like,
we gotta get you out of here.
They're like buddies. That was like super smooth part of the movie.
It was. And very well executed too on Man-Thing's.
Man-Thing looked great.
He did. I mean, that was one of my fears as well, was how are they going to depict Man-Thing to make it good, make it kind of fun, but make him threatening too. Because they could have fucked that up very easily. Very easily, he could have been goofy, like way offbeat. They could have made him any one of those things. And then, they established the relationship between Jack Russell and Man-Thing. You're like, oh shit. That's the
homies.
story. Yeah, that's the story. Elsa Bloodstone's a large part of this story, but that is the story that we're gonna see. And how does Elsa? And I think you had a taste for that when you saw that those two got together.
The whole thing's great even before there's a werewolf.
Right.
The movie could have been great even without a werewolf. And then we get into the werewolf path. So that scene when he transformed into the werewolf.
Well, hold on. Before that though was funny. What was funny because what leads up to that, right? You saw the movie. Jack Russell and Man-Thing are getting ready to go. Yeah. Elsa's going to get Man-Thing, right? Yeah, she is. She's going to get Man-Thing. He's going to blow the wall up. Yeah, so he's fucking around with the stupid. I love that they added that that comedic effect. It wasn't necessary, but they did. Where he's trying to stick the bomb to the wall.
In the making of, they talk all about that scene and how that was, how that was going to go down.
Right, but it's fun because it's this tense moment, and so Elsa gets Man-Thing's attention without getting murked by this huge monster. You also get a little bit of the backstory that he was a man. Yeah. Right?
Call him Ted.
Yep.
Talk to his name. She's like, Ted? This monster's called Ted?
Yep. And then when super serum in the swamp, right?
Man-Thing is like, hey, Ted. And he's like,
yeah.
How did you
Which I still love. I fucking love
when
how
Man-Thing
they do that.
burns that first dude, so whoever knows fear burns at the Man-Thing's touch. I think I need to make a song that I think I need to make a Man-Thing song.
It's
and he just
killer.
like melts that
fucker. Yeah.
And like you were like, I was there like going, fuck yeah, that's sick. The Man-Thing just melted that fucking dude. That was just fantastic.
Absolutely. So we
the
get
werewolf,
past the wall. Yes.
So that scene where he's turned into the werewolf and he turns to the camera and his eyes are glowing. Yeah. That was a sick shot, dude.
It was.
That still that shot with the glowing eyes because you're not seeing the prosthetic makeup. You just see him and the fucking those glowing eyes. I'm like, I go, dude, that was money right there. It was a money shot.
Well, I like that set up for that scene. You know what I mean? Because they got locked up because they got caught. Fucking letting the monster out, essentially. Like
with a bunch of people that look like they were TVA.
Right,
That's what everyone thought on the spec when they showed that. Like, dude, those are TVA agents.
There's a tie-in. There's a tie-in. But they're in a unique, cool-looking cage, right? It's almost like a bird cage. Yeah. But Jack Russell tells her, he's like, whatever you do, look me in the eyes. You have to look me in the eyes. Which was cool. Leads up to the transport.
How many times have you not murdered somebody when you're turned into the werewolf? He's like, once.
Yep. Right.
Kind of like Doctor Strange and like I just viewed 14 million possible outcomes. There's only one.
Right.
Where we got out of it.
And then of course he turns, doesn't kill it because we knew
the way they did the turn scene.
I like that.
Her just like horrified, and you just see the shadow of the transformation.
Well, I like how the evil woman, the ant or whatever. I like because both of those elements, Jack Russell, the way it's shot, you do get I got a sense of like, this is like that early horror with that shrieking. You don't get this shit with modern shows. Yeah. The Werewolf by Night scene where it's the panning and the back and forth. He's going to turn. He's going to kill her.
Well, with good horror, it's a lot of what you don't see.
Right.
And so you just saw the shadow.
That's right. That is right. Absolutely.
Horrified look.
Absolutely. And then it goes into their taunt. Well, actually, it started with them taunting because she gemstoned the fuck out of him to turn him. Which, if you don't know, and I didn't know until that whole scene where they explained the Bloodstone. Excuse me, the Bloodstone turns or can identify creatures, and then it can fuck them up because he's not supposed to turn until a full moon. Okay. Right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to turn you early." Yeah. And that's how they found out that he was the creature in the first place. So he breaks out.
The fight scenes of him.
I love it.
All those,
dude. I love it.
Scars was sick.
I love it. And then it gets a little bit of a little drama that's coming down.
Elsa beat the shit out of people.
Yep, Elsa. But probably one of my favorite scenes, or one of my favorite parts of that whole thing, because Jack Russell ends up running off. Yeah. Because he doesn't want to fucking kill her because he had looked like he had a moment of wanting a snack. Was where Elsa's pretty much pinned in, or no, Jack Russell gets out because they were faced with each other. He doesn't kill him. Gets out. She's at the end of the corridor, and then I think it's the ant, right? Wasn't it the ant has her kind of pinned in?
Like her
or one of the goons, or mother-in-law, whatever. has her pinned in, and then out of fucking nowhere, it's still probably one of my favorite scenes. Goddamn Man-Thing comes in and just blasts her
through the ceiling.
But, yeah, but it was so perfect because I was sitting there, I was like, dude, it'd be so.
No, when
badass.
when he falls through the ceiling,
Yeah,
and just like,
yeah, and he just
freaking melts her.
Yeah.
That's because that was a shocker.
Yeah, I was like, dude, they did it.
Yeah, it was that was a jump scare. So you're just like,
well, I just felt like they accomplished it because it was great all the way up, and I'm like, dude, if they have something epic, have it something, and it was like, you guys did it. You fired on all fucking cylinders, and then obviously the story from there kind of.
And the Bloodstone has so much power that you can see now. Okay, now we can roll Elsa into this world because this thing she's wielding is badass. So you can hang with a blade person.
Yeah.
When you get in, we're rolling into the Midnight Suns thing, the group of the Man-Thing, Ghost Rider, Blade, Morbius, Werewolf by Night.
You've got
expanding the Marvel horror universe.
Absolutely. You've got her cousin that they can roll in, Isa Bloodstone. There's so many different things that you could do with her character. I love the closing scene where you've got Jack and Ted hanging out, talking, and I'm like, what a
slowly colorize it.
Yes.
To go like, now we're in the MCU now.
Yep.
Everything is this is in the universe.
Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to be because I know Feige talked about it. It's like, no, these guys play a very, very important role in what's to come. And what's so unique about the past with those characters and the love that people care, like the passion. I mean, I didn't understand it and I've always been a fan of them, but until I did, and I did some of those sales, like these guys are passionate. They want these books for a reason.
Yeah. And they had all those Easter eggs at the beginning and the lore and the intro that showed the Avengers.
Yes.
They tied into the darker side of the Marvel universe. And then some of those creatures in the drawings and the heads on the wall all had Easter eggs.
Absolutely.
To some of the comments. When I was running the Werewolf by Night run, there was, this guy was one of the drawings, Toomba or whatever it was. So that freaking book went, spiked just because of the drawing.
Just
of
a
the
drawing.
beginning.
That's so
but
crazy.
It's cool. Now we're going to be able to roll into Blade. We're going to be able to roll. We have the Man-Thing, which is going to be bad. Now we got Werewolf by Night can go all kinds of places. Tomb of Dracula, all of the casting room. I mean, I even heard one of the rumors with Denzel Washington might be cast as Dracula.
Jesus.
Now he
Anthony Starr, that was a big one.
The guy, Homelander.
That's
he would be amazing.
Oh, he would be. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. But I thought about Denzel Washington. Like Denzel Washington kills whatever he does. He'd probably.
He would be
insane Dracula.
He absolutely.
As much as I'm against all the freaking color swap and gender swaps of characters, I might even be down for that.
Yeah,
I think everyone wants Homelander though.
Dude, Anthony Starr. Oh my God, because he's so charismatic, great looking dude. He's got the right Dracula build.
But let's take this
to the stars. Run.
Now the other thing that I've been calling for every time I sell a kid cult book or a 2-gun kid book or the old Ghost Rider riding the horse or Red Wolf, where is the Marvel Western universe? I bet that would be badass.
Well,
I bet that would be.
It's not Marvel, but DC. I was reading something that there's Jonah Hex is getting some heat on it,
that'd be awesome.
That would be good, especially if they revamped it. So, anyways, guys, that is our conversation about Werewolf by Night.
If you haven't seen it, Marvel home run.
Absolutely.
Now the next special presentation, we have the holiday Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and then the other rumor was Silver Surfer.
Yep. Yet to be confirmed, but there's a lot of
Silver
stuff
Surfer
behind
is my number one guy. That would be amazeballs if they do that.
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll wrap it there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've got Helldestroyer's information down below. Make sure to check out SteelCartel on YouTube. Guys, we'll catch up with you in the next episode.